Welcome back. It's the Sticky Icky, your host for the night. I am Chris Puckett, aka the Viscous, the Guru, whatever you want to call me. You have to stay with me throughout the show. But I'm not alone. I've kicked off the old casters to upgrade, and I brought in some of the best dressed. This man will put you in cuffs and take you to places you don't want to be. He goes by the Thunder Down Under, aka Uber Leslie. How we feeling tonight?
What's good? Yeah, you know, I got the cuffs. They're hanging on the wall, though. You know what I mean? Not really appropriate for broadcast, but I might take the cake for the lowest effort cosplay out of everybody, but that's fine. I have a hat.
You're the only one who works out, though, so it kind of works out in your favor.
That is Dan Erasure, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I thought like Dan would just kind of mauled about that for a little bit, but Dan, suck it. Look at those guns, Jason Kaplan. You could grow those one day. In the meantime, we got to introduce another beast from the East, all the way from Minnesota. He's been horny since he was born. We welcome in the Abrams.
That's right. You know, sometimes you look at this and go, I gotta go blue. I gotta grab some horns. I gotta grab an old winter jacket, dressed up with a tie, and you know, you're good to go.
That is too elite. That is hats off to ZP. Literally, my hat is hurting me. No.
Well done, buddy. Well done.
Nice job,
you kind of look like Vindicta over there, or Yamato, I should say. Yeah. It's a weird combo. I don't know who your parents are, but I do know I'm gonna have fun with you guys tonight legally. Let's take a look here at our tournament, because as always, it's a format you're familiar with. Two challengers will fight for the honor of playing in our NA final, where $1,000 is up for grabs thanks to our friends at Intel. This opening matchup is going to feature two teams you just saw in the Trolli 10K. We, of course, have the Melee Creeps taking on Kawaii Crew. Now, Kawaii Crew made it deeper than we thought in groups, fell short of a championship Sunday. Melee Creeps were the talk of the town with the speed run of the bracket, ZP Abrams.
Yeah, I mean, Melee Creeps looked really good. Of course, John's Bebop looked even better, but there have been some changes. Last time around, chat was pretty brutal. A lot of Lord Hinomo and Floorman spam, and while I don't think it's related to where it was at, we do have a change. Lord NM no longer in Melee Creeps, replaced by Ido, and I think that is a permanent change. I think because I was seeing Ido tweet about like, yeah, I'm excited to be in comp again and go from there. So it is going to be a shift up here for Melee Creeps, but still a tough road ahead for the Kawaii Crew.
Love that. Honestly, like Ido's talked about like being on either side of like pro play or not in sort of streaming, but Twitter recently he's really enjoying it. So great to see him obviously not only having a good time, but also on a top team to showcase his skill.
Do you think this is kind of like a Seagull Dallas Fuel situation, though, where you're just signing a streamer who's also really fun to watch?
Seagull in his day was like one of the best like DPS players in the West for sure. But you know, I think maybe brought on the Dallas Fuel. But the thing is, Ido is currently like a top player, right? It's not like he had the reputation and then like, you know, fell off a little bit and then got picked up because of name value. The guy he's one of the best players we've got.
Let's keep the show moving as we take a look at the roster, shall we, ZP? Who do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, let's talk about Kawaii Crew, because I got some info here. If people have been missing some of the recent broadcasts, you know, Kawaii Crew, the one thing they do have, it's the NA special for an up-and-coming team, and that is nothing less than a whole bunch of players that are really good at one particular hero. You can catch Fred the Finch, always streaming on Twitch, and usually half naked at the same time.
Who's the Viscous?
LARP Noodles.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, back to Fred.
Name, by the way.
Also Leviathan, though we got Leviathan in there as Paradox. Leviathan known for having a really good sojourn. Ken can, even in the Trolli tournament, bring out the Dynamos. So, I mean, this is a team that is kind of in step one of the planning where, you know, they're good enough to get in comp, a lot of Eternus players, but can they put it together against the best of the best?
Did bro just say really good sojourn? No. Am I hearing things?
I said Dynamo.
I think, I think
you said Leviathan has a really good sojourn. I'm like, okay, lit.
Oh, wait, no.
What about Deadlock, bro?
How in the world did I haven't even said the word sojourn.
It's a railgun?
No. Sinclair is where I was getting at.
Gotcha.
Sinclair, like the guy with like the top hat and the pointy stick, and he's like, I'm gonna zap you.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Unreal like lane pressure, just a real bully, and also gets to copy any of those initiator ultimates that are on other heroes. So I do hope we get a bit of that. We got him mixed in last week a little bit in EU, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something I've definitely got my eyes out for show.
ZP, I can't see through this mask, so let's talk about the other team, I assume. What do you think is going to happen with what's on screen?
I can't see either.
I mean, probably not double Abrams in this instance. Ido probably going to be on Mina, if anything. Ido's been still playing a lot of Mina. I expect it's going to be a high priority pick for melee creeps coming on in here. I also feel like if you're going against melee creeps, maybe you respect ban the Bebop still. I don't want to go against John John's Bebop. I don't know if anyone wants to go against John John's Bebop right now. I think you put that one to bed.
Yeah, it's too good. Even with like capacitor being nerfed a little bit, right? That was kind of like, you know, one of the upsides, right? Is you have like a capacitor carrier and like someone who can initiate and also have a really bully-esque lane all in one. I think it was like playing alongside the doorman sometimes as well. It was like a really scary combo to see. Like this team, we know what Ido can do, right? He was one of the earliest proponents of Mina, loves those high skill cap, like high movement potential heroes. So expect to see him continue to showboat a little bit out there. No one doesn't really like him. So this team, I thought Lord NA was great. He's great, right? He has not passed away. Let's be clear about it. Still alive and well, I'm sure. But Ido definitely adds another element to this team. But he's also someone who's probably going to be asking for a bit of farm priority. So maybe, an adjustment of role inside the game for these guys.
Does Fishcake have the best name of the 6 players on that squad?
It's not Larp Noodle, but it's pretty good.
Is Larp Noodle better than Fred the Finch? I think it is.
I don't know. I feel like Fred the Finch sells the entire thing when you look at the stream. And again, it is just literally the shirtless Yamato streamer. Like one trick, all Yamato, all the time. No shirt required. Just go in. Oh God, my horns. It's real painful.
God, ladies, look away. He's back. All right,
we're good.
Look here at
it's quite painful though.
Mo and Krill. Who's got the bigger big boy? Who's got a parry for days? Who's gonna slap their mama?
You know what I like about the parry changes as well? Something that may have been overlooked by anyone who's not super hardcore is that you used to get like increase to melee damage to parry targets. You also get increase in weapon damage to parry targets now, which is super nice. If you're like a gun hero, you don't have good melee stats. So I quite like that. Fun little adjustment we've seen. Leviathan's in deep trouble. Saya definitely has the edge here. Give me some more than parries. One hit, bro. That's all we need. Uja. I can't really see what's going on. I'm assuming the Saya's winning.
I can finally see ZP's makeup, and it is glorious. ZP, were you scared to do your lips?
The problem is it's water soluble, so it was actually just like falling off.
Just keep licking it. Or just...
So, and also, I mean, it's not toxic, but I don't know how much blue makeup is safe to consume. Oh God, here we go.
Chat wants to know, did you blue yourself? I don't know. That's from Arrested Development. I understand your comment. Let's get into the draft as we have our bans and protects. First, we're going to ban, and then we're going to draft them. So who do we get rid of first? It's not Kelvin anymore. Is it?
Probably still should be. Shiv Kelvin being looked at. Paradox often popping up in this first round. Some people still looking at Vindicta. Yeah. Get that guy out of here.
Did anyone clip ZP dropping his horns for the first time? Because I just caught it on a second monitor, and it is glorious.
I'm pretty sure this hat is going to leave like a diamond-shaped indent in my forehead because like the other side of this plastic thing is actually sticking into me. So this is going to be a weird day, guys. I'm lobotomizing myself with this hat.
Oh.
Okay. Respect that. I mean, we talked about this, right? John ban, straight out from Kawaii Crew. No Bebop in this game, sir.
Do you take Yamato though? Does Melee Creeps look at Kawaii Crew and be like, we've looked at Fred's stream. It is like 99% Yamato. We don't want you to play Yamato. Or do they just go a little bit more meta? Do they grab something like the Infernus, the Paradox?
Okay.
First pick Paige. Okay.
I mean, we definitely saw Paige prioed pretty heavily last week. In that she just supercharges, obviously, someone who, I mean, we've seen the Victor Paige combo, I think for me is one of the more disgusting ones, but yeah, the fire rate increase matters. It really matters once you start to get some points into that standard fight barrier. And Captivating Reed, pretty good ability, especially if you can enhance its range, duration, anything like that. With the Infernus, no surprise to see it go pretty early in the draft order.
You gotta pick Yamato here, I think, if you're Kawaii Crew. You know where you're at. I think if they want to get the Sinclair, they could get a little bit later, though. Leviathan has been more on Paradox, so maybe they go Paradox, or they just get the Yamato here, because, you know, Melee Creeps, they got Ido, and Ido hasn't played it as much recently, but they could go with that. But okay, they decided, no, actually, we'd rather Ido play the Yamato than Ido play the Pocket.
Okay. Pocket win rate's quite interesting, really. Seeing it 5 and 7 in total in NA, mind you. So that is region specific. What's Melee Creep's answer going to be? Is Victor still remotely prioritized? No, it's Shiv. I mean, Shiv, at least if you get half of the Shiv Kelvin duo, I think you're in very good shape here. We still have all of our like initiators on the board still. Melee Creeps, obviously, in lieu of being able to access the Bebop, definitely want to have the agency to start the fights. It's interesting to see Holiday and Paradox get pretty deep here into the picks and bans without being selected by either.
I love how Puckett's just contemplative, deep in thought within the green suit. So Mina gets picked up. That's almost certainly going to be for Ido, where, you know, the one downside about the Ido play on Mina is that, and this goes for a lot of teams playing Mina, is that the Mina gets too rich at times, where I don't love when you go, actually, guys, into the mid game, we're going to have the Mina with 35K relative to setups where you could have maybe your Ivy at 35K or your Motto at like 35K. But that's probably where we're heading as Kawaii Crew goes, Lord and M may be off the team, but we don't care. We still want to take the Mo for ourselves.
I think that's a fair point. I think that like you do need a decent amount of souls though to remain relevant as Mina, right? Like you need that tank buster and the surge of power spikes, right? QSR is also like a little bump for me, I find. And then you just want to like, you know, reduce your cooldowns as much as humanly possible, right? That's what we're seeing. Like even Transcendent picked up if you have like Cold Front Arctic Blast there. So I kind of agree. You don't want to over-index on the soul allocation for your Mina, but you definitely need a decent amount. Otherwise, she gets left behind.
You know? As I'm looking at here, I just did a little bit of due diligence. I've been alerted by a certain person whose name begins with V that Vegas didn't have VIP in the channel, and
that's
you know,
crazy,
that's
dude.
fine. We can rectify that.
Directly to jail with you.
I just want to know, is Puckett still okay? Like,
I actually can't see you guys. The only thing in my field of vision is the draft graphic. It's actually perfect. So you guys could be throwing up gang signs and I'd be none the wiser. Lady Geist here for Kawaii Crew. Obviously the Mo and Krill gives some pretty powerful half of, you know, like a combination. A combo ultimate still pretty potent, but something to ideally drag someone into Mo and Krill's purview would be needed. Hey, why are they banning me? That's illegal. That's illegal.
Throwing out a lot of binding words here, Mitch.
That's right. Yes, exactly. My word is the lol, baby.
It has a longer cooldown than that. Well, you know what you needed? You know what you should have gone? You should have gone like a purple light behind you that just flashes on and off like really quickly when you see something you didn't like. You know, just
we'd have to put an epilepsy warning at the start of the show, though, is the issue. I don't want to. I want to do that.
Real budget.
True.
Puck's just like waving it. Is that a signal from help?
Is he sleeping?
I don't know. Like, I actually think he may be stuck in the suit.
Wait a minute. It's just slowly running out of air.
Oh no! No, fuck it.
That's crazy.
Take the mask off. No.
That's correct. That's right. I hope you know what. We'll get Victor in here. We'll get him back in his feet. Don't worry about it. Mirage he picked up. So, oh my goodness, the Dynamo. Yo, I'm about this.
Can. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we saw it in the Trolli tournament. Can if they couldn't get a Kelvin, was more than willing to come in on the Dynamo. Didn't work out super well last week, but maybe this week will be the time that works out. As it's been an interesting draft. We'll see what Melee Creeps finishes off with. Also, where's Paradox? Wait, Paradox is in front. I was too looking at Puckett. I can't look at the left side of my screen without seeing just.
Why is his suit undulating? Like it's like it's oscillating, you know? Yeah, that's
wait.
That is very impressive.
Wait. Okay. Paige was on Melee Creeps at the beginning, and now it's Paradox.
Oh, we got trolled.
We got trolled by production here. Okay, it wasn't just me. I was sitting here, it's like, how did I miss the Paradox? I'm like, man, the blue makeup has just like hit my brain harder than I thought. It's like, no.
I think it was.
Got him. Yep.
Yeah, okay. I think it was communicated in chat that there was a draft bug. I can't see chat because, well, I can't see much anything. So shout out to my girlfriend who told me in Discord that there was a draft bug. She's watching the stream, so I just found that out from her. Love that. Abrams gonna get picked up. Why do I get banned and ZP gets picked, bro? This is bullsh. This is proper bullsh.
Well, you know, you gotta pick Abrams. I got no other response.
I mean, also, do I have an indent yet in my head?
You do.
Yeah,
man, you look like Peyton Manning, bro. Jesus, did you get shot by a BB gun?
Bro, it's just like, I like get down Mr. President vibes. Holy moly, bro.
To be fair, his forehead is a little bit bigger than Peyton's, you know?
That's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
that thing is stuck.
Well, guys, this is the way it is now. Now it distracts from my receding hairline.
The way it is. It looks
Just
good.
the way
It
it is,
helps
bro.
you center on where I should be looking, you know?
My goodness.
Speaking
I have a
of
legitimate
looking,
indent.
I'm ready to look at a different screen. Are our players ready?
Yeah,
Our
it's not.
players
Production.
are
Okay,
not
all right,
ready.
Let's take this opportunity to talk about this because, all right, so we have some really powerful team fight potential with the Pocket, Dynamo, and Furnace, right? That's a great call with the Lady Geist. Mo and Cruel gives you some catch potential, obviously some Veil Walker abuse potential, Sinclair Bully in lane, and also can copy Holiday and Paradox. So you always have some form of, well, conditionally, you have some form of initiation. Melee creeps go really heavy in that direction, but, you know, after the swap or, you know, the lasso, then you got to find ways to try and lock them down. You don't have a lot, right? You got Nox Nostra damage. You've got Abrams with some hard engage potential here, but trying to hold people in place in order to blow them up gets tricky, especially if Kawaii Crew can mitigate that via some items. So just bear that in mind. Melee creeps, though, just playing like a really aggressive get out of lane and then just start turning the map into an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, the thing that worries me about the Kawaii Crew draft is that, generally speaking, the reason why newer teams tend to fall short against more experienced teams is that they don't get out of lane phase in a good spot. And you take a look between the two teams, Melee Creeps absolutely has a way, way better early laning phase. They can put together multiple shutdown lanes, and Kawaii Crew, some of their lanes are going to be struggling. You got one lane that's going to be stuck with the Dynamo, you know... I don't know. I think if Kawaii Crew can get out of laning phase and not be 7k behind, you know, there's some potential here, but some of these early lanes are going to be just brutal.
Yep, filthy.
All right, now,
the trading in lane is going to be rough.
Chat is going to be hyper focused on the Dynamo, and I think we can call that out early. Can you educate folks like me, though, who are pretenders, who are like, yeah, we know this character. We don't know what a Dynamo does. So what is the best case scenario for a Dynamo in the game, and why is there a dearth of selection in competitive play?
So for Dynamo, I think two reasons. He's not picked as much in competitive. I think the biggest thing against him is the fact that his laning is tough. Quantum is actually a ridiculous tool. Quantum can get you earned turn-ins guaranteed in a way that few other skills can do. I think he has a little bit of trouble in the fact that the game is still relatively vertical and you're not always going to get value out of your stomp. Your best value comes in enclosed areas, places like mid-boss, or if people chase underground, and you can land the singularity of your life and you know, take down three people at a time.
To maybe go a little bit deeper on that, obviously Singularity stuns people and draws them slowly in towards you. So it's amazing, obviously, in close quarters in a team fight. And Quantum Entanglement is an ability that lets you teleport yourself or you and other people close by you. So there's Dynamo has a lot of utility, but it's really quite conditional. He also has got just like straight up heal that he can use in lane. And with max investment, that heal can be used and speeds him, rather can add extra health per second and allow him to use all his abilities. So amazing utility, weak in lane. There used to be a pretty powerful gun build that you could use with Dynamo. He's got a decent, you know, projectile velocity on his weapon, but it's tough to sort of use that to abuse lanes anymore. That was looked at a while back.
ZP, we have Cherry over on the YouTube channel who wants to know, does it tingle before your horns move?
A little bit, yeah. I can actually just feel gravity winning and just pulling it down the top of my head.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's game number one. It's the Challenger Fight NA. On the mic, it's the Warden, AK Uber, and his big blue buddy, ZP.
Honestly, we would make a great buddy cop movie, the two of us. They've got to think about that in the future, you know, for Deadlock lore. But ZP definitely takes the accolades for you know, best cosplayer alongside Jason for sure. Nicely done, buddy. I just got a hat. I'm okay with it. Let's have a look at how these lanes sort of match up early on here. We're on the board with Ed. I'm going to call him Ed because it's much easier, but that's a Paradox and Shiv lane that they have to play into here in mid. So obviously this Infernus can be a bit of a pain, but it's a while before he and Geist can actually start to be oppressive. And as you can see, Fishcake is trying to be just that straight off the rip.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be on the back foot for a lot of this middle lane, barring a really big mistake. I think the lane that is most horrifying for Kawaii Crew to deal with is going to be on the left-hand side, where you're dealing with Mirage Holiday. I mean, yeah, you got Sinclair Pocket, but there's a lot of ways that can go against you if you're not careful. I mean, also, I guess, in turn, Pocket has pretty good burst, and Sinclair in lane is like scary effective, especially someone who's, you know, partial one trick like Leviathan. I mean, man has a lot of hours in on the Sinclair, so it's not impossible to get a win condition here, but if you just go off normal poke, it should be in favor of John and DMB on the other side.
I mean, you can see with that crack shot damage, it just hits you for 100. That's chunking you for like a seventh of your health. It's a significant amount of damage to come in when you're at 700 and you take 100, of course. So that poke is going to be annoying to deal with, and you can say the same of Mirage, right? Both of these both of these heroes are going to be very, very good at harassing you down with those guns. So, and you can see, right, look what the lanes are pushed. All of the lines of scrimmage are pushing in towards Kawaii Crew, and this obviously in effect allows melee creeps to deny some souls and get some early pressure on these Guardians. Also allowing for this, right? Sinners aren't up right now, but that position you can really contest here. This is dangerous for Ed. Nice little slice and dice comes in for Fishcake. I don't know how you pick yourself back from this one. Ed wants to stand and fight, but that seems inadvisable, especially with Scout waiting in the wings. But it's a bait to set up for the Geist of Laugh Noodles to contest.
Mitch, you know it's holiday season as the Porch Pirates are here. You literally have melee creeps going in, just stealing Kawaii Crew's boxes, deep into their own underground, into their own boxes near the Sinners spawn. That is actually wild.
Yeah.
The level
So
of pressure that they're getting away from. Yeah. And
like,
then guess what?
There's no
when the wave is
incentive,
pushed
really.
up, I was gonna say, when the wave is pushed up, they're gonna go back and get their own boxes. So it's just like you get the double benefit, and the lanes end up being very imbalanced as a result if you can't stop it.
Yeah, you're going to see that get out of hand here. Entanglement has been used passively here, defensively by Ken to back away. And now, of course, it's some easy pressure down on this Guardian. We're too early for even the camps to have started spawning, and that is just how relentless melee creeps have been so far. And that position we saw them pushing on the left side, I mean, that's really only relevant until 8 minutes when there's a Sinner sacrifice there. So we are well and truly off the mark in that regard. Tier 1s are spawning, so that'll give options to the melee creeps in the left lane to fall back and pick up. Same in mid, and also some incentive to shove forward here on this right side of the map. But Ido's going to double back, get his boxes here. Every second on the map spent accruing souls, and there's Leviathan, DMB, and of course John make short work of him.
Yeah, we knew from the onset this left lane was going to be a bit brutal and pressure. And I mean, it's also why you see Holidays, especially if they don't take much HP damage early on, will usually go Mystic Shot, because you're getting the extra poke damage regardless of range, on top of barrels, on top of crack shot, and you're pairing up with DMB, who's also getting like everything from Jin's Mark. So that lane is just awful to deal with unless you get an early pick, and doesn't go well for Caleb on the other end. And yeah.
Mystic Shot, still like kind of your best bang for buck in terms of just raw power off souls, even after like the base damage got nerfed by a pretty significant amount, like over 20%. I think it's from 55 to 45. So that was definitely looked at. Still a very reasonable item into how it converts to impactful souls. Jin's Mark getting applied there. DMB is playing very riskily in case that's not bleedingly obvious to you. Leviathan able to stave him off here, but they are suffering in this lane. Make no mistake about it. Obviously, increasing the velocity of one's rounds definitely helps when you're Sinclair, and Leviathan is trying to poke at very, very long range. That pressure will continue to mount for them here.
Scary thing about Sinclair in lane is just the amount of burst damage you get once he gets a little bit of his early game items online. If you get hit by both Vexing Bolts at the same time, your HP just kind of vanishes. It is an absurd burst threat in lane, even when you think you have the advantage. So it's still something you have to be a little bit careful on from John and DMB's perspective. But as I say that, a little bit of the chase down here onto the buff. Vitality buff is up. I think John might have even gotten it. Lasso out at the very end, and that should be a cleaned up kill.
Yeah, look, we are 4K souls at 5 minutes. That's the differential in the game right now. That's pretty scary. Jin's Mark almost claims Leviathan, takes him low enough at least for John to follow and clean him up. Soul Exchange going to be used here. Fishcake, though, still pretty healthy, and he's chilling. Interesting spot to make use of that there for KC. They're going to be forced straight on back. Oh, that's Larp Noodles, excuse me. We'll have to play from behind that Guardian for as long as possible. 6K souls, 5 minutes into the game, and Charter's Emblem being picked up. These are, in terms of the laning phase, pretty decent power spikes, especially if you're at high health to have that active when you buy it.
And speaking of power spikes, John, I think, getting pretty close to getting Cultist. And my suspicion would be, we haven't really seen John play Holiday in a long time, but probably going to be more of the gun build Holiday that we've been seeing, where people have just kind of crunched numbers, talking to the coaches in the scene, and they're just going, hey, Holiday's gun carry is actually really, really strong. So you get... Yeah. Well, the interesting thing was his meme, but it was more so because the spirit end was just so good, and then people realized like, wait, the gun was actually always this good. She has been one of the most broken characters up there with like disarming Arctic Beam Kelvin. You know, just always really good.
I think also it's the spirit scaling on crack shot that was pretty tantalizing for players to invest in, and obviously how like hard the powder kegs hit. So there was a lot of incentive go more in that spirit direction or something similar. That's Larp Noodles picked off as the Lady Geist. Unfortunately, going by the wayside here, and melee creeps are trying to just choke these lanes out a little bit. You can see some of the soul differentials getting pretty big. John has 6k already. Leviathan feeling some level of pressure now as that is free guardian damage being dealt in the middle of the map for melee creeps. So you're dealing with a Mirage here, so you have to poke DMB back. You've got to try and keep him honest here. Caleb, of course, playing from this high ground, might be looking for a chance to get involved. There is an Affliction at the ready. Lasso got to be popped straight away. Copied, of course, from John. He'll back away, but he'll be ticking down, and Caleb's trying to follow up on that damage. Barrage comes in pretty late in the day, and, well, Caleb doesn't really have extra damage to benefit from the Amplify, but John will be 1 HP walking away from this.
You'd think John be hanging back to base, but we'll see how greedy John wants to be here, but oftentimes just, go back to base. As right-hand side, Dynamo lane, struggling a bit versus the Mina Abram. Mogan taken for a ride.
Base!
Singularity.
Oh, it's a singularity. Okay, catches out the Abrams. Dangerous now for Sire, but of course he is very, very durable. Entanglement going to be used into the combo now. Locks down. Ken's able to pick him up. However, Idorian will be able to trade it out. Elsewhere, Fishcake finds that pick, and that's going to be 3 players off the map as again Larp Noodle gets gobbled down. This is getting dangerous, and Fishcake is starting to snowball out of control. This next buy will represent a significant power spike for the Shiv.
Another Guardian falling off on the left, and you look at the game state, that's all Guardians gone for Kawaii Crew. And this was really the concern going back to the draft phase, is that Kawaii Crew came up with a combo here roster-wise that just is not the greatest at laning, and they're getting punished for it. It's kind of a harsh baptism into top-level play where melee creeps, not only have really good mechanical skill, but we've just seen this bias towards picking teams that are really good in the lane phase that just put things out of reach in the first 10 minutes if possible.
Yep. Again, it's really tough to start to break back into the game, and obviously you don't have a great comeback mechanic working for you that early on. You get crushed in lane and lose the soul value of those Guardians, give away a flex slot, for example, things can certainly become problematic. And look at this. I mean, melee creeps now, we've had Sinners come up for the last 50 or so seconds, though they're going to be contested now. And Kawaii Crew are going to continue to feel this sort of disparity of souls as they try and defend theirs and sort of stay in this game. Carbine readied up here by Scout was looking for Larp Noodles there, but they're able to drop off some of these buildings. But we have a big grouping here of melee creeps towards this mid-right side of the map. And, well, this is exactly where you want to be if you want to start to fight for those Sinners and take those camps. It's a combo with no follow-up for the time being laid down. There's Boga attempting to turn the fight. There's really not much to be done here, and Larp Noodles realizes that too. They're going to try and head upstairs and escape through the vent on the roof. The melee creeps are here in numbers. Love Bites comes in, and it's an easy one ability there from Ido to secure the elimination. And hey, let's have ourselves some double Sinners.
This just hurts when you're so far behind that you are, nearly 10 minutes into the game. Your first vaults have spawned, and the other team is going, yep, we're going to walk in and steal them. But it's what happens when the lane phase goes this poorly. You have a big power spike difference. Ido, as a 10k Mina, can just walk at half the game right now and take them out with the combination of Love Bites proc into Rake. And it's not much better if you run in the Fishcake in a dark alley or John. I mean, the difference in just actual ability to walk at the other team is massive.
Honestly, this QSR opening rounds combo for DMB hits really hard. Obviously, damaging those high health targets even more, and QSR is just nuts. Obviously, very easy to proc that and get your reload plus buff. So, for me, that always makes me feel very powerful as Mirage if I'm able to snap that one up, especially, sub 10 minutes into the game. These walkers have already had a chunk taken out of them. You'll notice just how far behind Kawaii Crew are based on that turn-in location. And I suspect, CP, the melee creeps are going to be happy to jaunt on over there and try and turn it in.
Which also is just a sign of just how far ahead they are. Seismic Slam, though, over in. Headboy getting taken for a bit of a ride. Able to warp stone away, but won't be able to fully complete the escape as Ido's still there.
Sire did like 800 damage in that sequence there as well. It's pretty filthy. Burrow might limit some of the damage you take, but not enough when you've got Amina and an Abrams running you down. This basically makes it a free earn turn in now. I don't think Ken can really interact with this. Just because it says Ken doesn't mean Ken should. So he's going to play back behind his own walker. And this is even more souls here for melee creeps. And that knock-up does not do much to interrupt it. Somehow there's a Lady Geist there. Not sure what Larp Noodles was hoping for, but they will be dealt with accordingly.
It's always the tough part of a Geist engagement too, where if you're gonna die, just take the death. Like, people are kind of memeing in the Trolli tournament about Fragareco being on Geist, and I mean, hey, Cass, we mentioned it's like, hey, that's 4 deaths without swap. But you know what's worse than dying with swap? Using swap and still dying and not getting a kill in return. It's not great.
Damned if you do and damned if you don't sometimes, though, especially when you're only 7k souls. When the enemy Mina has doubled you, literally. That's Ido. Getting out of control as per usual. Has that call to sacrifice. Surge of power has been picked up. Yeah, you're kind of, working with a lot. Headhunter also added into the mix, which is maybe not always a staple item, but still very effective in this build. Lasso's going to catch out Edboy. Flame Dash might be available. No, it's not. It's on cooldown. And there's no escape for the Infernus once more. Ido gets himself yet another pick up, and Leviathan's going to get raked to death here. Wasn't even needed. Ido's able to pick him off with a gun before that happens. Combo attempted there by Boga. Very outnumbered with nobody really to follow up on it. One by one, Kawaii Crew are getting picked off.
Honestly, it was just a high-quality back massage at that point. You look at Abrams, the HP bar isn't moving.
Bit of shiatsu for you.
Exactly.
Bit of hot rock.
It's tough, though, where you're at right now for Kawaii Crew, where you've had this rough laning phase, and in very short order, in all of about 4 minutes, what was a 6-7k lead has ballooned into nearly a 30,000 soul lead, which 13 minutes into the game, I mean, you are getting crunched by any conceivable metric. And once more, they're back in the win condition here of, Ken needing to get a 6-man singularity. And even then, I'm not even sure they have the damage to finish it up. At the moment, that's the tough area they're in.
Yeah, this is like it's giving a FF at 20 kind of vibes right now. The fact that like there's a QSR being picked up after the Surge of Power for the Mina should tell you everything you need to know. That one's you're coming in a little bit later than expected. So look, taking stock of things, there are not a lot of creeps in Kawaii Crew's neutral jungle, and all they can really hope to try and do is push these waves out, defend the walkers. The 2 of them, by the way, are left right now at 13 minutes and trying to get picked off, but they get pulled into a full team fight. They are going to struggle. They really just have to try and clear these waves away and put melee creeps in a position where they end up overstepping, but that seems more and more unlikely to happen by the moment.
Well, Ken may have gotten a multi-person singularity there. The problem was that there was at least one person up and alive to immediately end him thereafter. So the singularity was used, but no discernible result from our end. And this is going to be a mid-pause just getting chunked down.
This is clinical.
And they're going to come in. Kawaii Crew is going to contest. They have no singularity, Mitch. We'll see if they can get even one charge. They do decide to commit and drop down.
In for a penny, in for a pound. They opt not to engage Kawaii Crew, but now they need to find an opportunity. So they take a Guardian for this, the last remaining one, off of melee creep. So that is something. Obviously, flex slots are a concern. Probably not at 10k souls. So someone like Leviathan probably doesn't have an issue with, a choked up inventory so much. But either way, there'll be a move over to the right side of the map here. Ido can basically 1v2 in this position. Leviathan is obviously here. We're on the left, though, and we have a chase. Boga is trying to get away from this Mirage. 4 stacks of Jin's Mark on him, by the way, as the walks over a bit of space. There's Larp Noodle, and the combo is sprung. DMB takes approximately 0 damage and then punches Boga into submission. He is paced on the walls right now. And Larp Noodle, similarly, just a soup additive at this point.
You just keep seeing the soul exchange come out in the situations where it's just like, it's almost like the person they're swapping with is happy for the exchange. It's like, oh yeah, nothing has actually gone down. But it is just where you're at Geist-wise if you end up under-farmed in a rough fight. Look, realistically, there's not a ton of positives to look at right now. The win condition, whatever may exist, it's far. Like, you could go down and have a better chance of winning the lottery than Kawaii Crew might have of bringing this game back with the gap that is just continuing to expand.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good example, I think, as well. Some people ask, like, how do you sort of close a game out when you're ahead? And melee creeps are basically taking every single edge they can across the map. Their hierarchy, of course, is working for them in a big way, of course. Your Cult Sacks can be used on this tier 3 as well. You want to keep that buff going, especially when you get even more souls to snowball further. Nox Nostra, not really used to push down objectives anymore, but it can definitely use to push over the people trying to hide under the eaves of a walker. Here's the swap coming in. Can is a Tin Can. Out of the game already. Kawaii Crew down to 4. And this is the last walker about to be chomped down. There should be a sub 20-minute game at this rate. The soul lead is absurd, and the chase is on. You can see the cloak being used there by Caleb to try and gain distance, but Saya somehow got purchase on him anyway.
You know, one thing I'll say for Kawaii Crew, Ken may be your favorite name to cast in Deadlock. Like, I've just noticed the joy. There's like 8 million different like ways of twisting the name into cool wordplay. But now, what I wonder for Ken is, does all those twisting, does it result in a singularity for us before the game is over? Like, even if it doesn't kill
we got
at this
one.
point.
We definitely got one. It may have been in a 1v3, but it happened.
Yeah. I want to say another, in base. Ken, you got singularity back up? Observers, this is the goal here. We need to see Ken land a big singularity. The results do not matter.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If Leviathan was a Hydra, he'd have about 700 heads by now. Like, he'd be living his best. They'd be multiplying. He'd be taking over the game. You know what I mean? That would be lit. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We do, like you mentioned, have that singularity up. I mean, this soul disparity is tough because melee creeps accidentally are going to be building enough vitality here that it's going to be hard to burst any of them down, as evidenced by basically every time Boger's gone for a combo. However, there are opportunities for Kawaii Crew to try and catch out these melee creeps players, but their macro's always been so good, and I think Ed Boy might have overextended a little bit there to try and get some farm. Here's a combo. There was a combo. A combo could have been an email. Light Needle knocked into the wall. Now I'm going to try and get away. That's not to be. There's even a paradoxical swap leveraged at the Lady Geist. Kind of unnecessary. And now we'll be looking at base Guardians start to push those over, and next will be Shrines.
Not much stopping this train that Melee Creeps has rolling forward. There is a singularity in reserve, but you got 3 team members down. We'll see if everything lines up here, but realistically, that is the only thing to look forward to here for Kawaii Crew. Other than that, the stat difference is just so incredibly massive that, I mean, Melee Creeps could tie 2 hands behind their back, run 4v6 with this sort of lead, and make it a very good team fight in their favor. So, well, when they bring everyone to bear here, where, you know, realistically, mid-boss is up in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but they might not even wait for that now, Mitch. If they just get another pick or two, they could just slam in and finish the patron outright.
Yeah, most of Melee Creeps not bothering with like zipline boosts to base. They just hit the secret shop and be able to regroup pretty easily, just in case something goes a little haywire as they try and close out the game. Buffs in 90 seconds. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Your Paradox just picked up crippling headshots, so we are, yeah, we're doing the thing. Don't you worry about it at all. Once again, Ed Boy looking for some farm. You need it as Infernus. You cannot simply just sit the game out. You've got to go for it. However, that presents an opportunity like this one. Basically, vaporizing the Infernus, which is a bit ironic if you think about it. And now, that'll be the Dynamo getting rolled over as well. Paradoxical swap used on Boger. Quite the exchange, if you ask me. The pick-off here will be pretty straightforward now, like the parry action. The Molten Krill is off the map as well, ZP.
He just dropped the LOL. GG, well played, as he sits in the corner and goes, maybe they won't see me here. But they're not about to see Boger anywhere, as Kawaii Crew, they are on the verge of elimination here. Melee Creeps making this one quick and dirty.
Yeah, exactly. Quick and painful, isn't it, ZP? Very strong lanes, took fights when they could, pushed down those Guardians early, took the farm, deep in Kawaii Crew's territory. Even an earn turn in occurred there at some point. I think there was only enough time in the game for 1 or 2 of those. And that's that. Sub 20 minutes, if my count is correct. Melee Creeps booked their ticket into our money match here. Of course, that money on the line from our friends over at Intel.
Bucket, how you feeling right now? All right, have you got a little bit of air since last draft? You were looking a little tapped out for a moment.
Oh, He's legitimately tapped us. Puckett, obviously, not in his chair at the moment, which is fine. We embrace this level of insanity here. We'll just run away the rest of the show. Damn, bro. It's real smoky up in that room, isn't it? Damn, that bro got the humidifier cranked. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's what it is.
You got that going on, and then, you know, the suit was a little bit tight. You know, you just have a little bit of nap on the floor, maybe.
He's about to invite Snoop Dogg over, I think. You know what I'm saying? Shaisha. Okay, well, look, I think that's probably one of the more one-sided games that we've seen in quite some time. But again, this was what the composition was kind of intended to do for Melee Creep CP. It's to have these really oppressive lanes and then, you know, snowball that advantage with a lot of initiation, pick potential. You have the agency. You are the ones that decide the pace of the game. And it's a pace that Kawaii Crew cannot keep up with.
It's just small advantages turn to big advantages in Deadlock really quickly. You know, some people, you know, probably a meme in chat going, is like, oh, is this Eternuses versus Initiates? No, so far as I know, everyone on Kawaii Crew is also Eternus 6. It's just the difference between top level competitive player Eternus 6 and general I'm just pubbing Eternus 6 is in fact a pretty wide gap, and it just happens that you get a small edge in lane, and you know how to turn that small edge into a bigger edge. You're just, doing this perpetual bartering with macro objectives until eventually it's too much for the other team to even compete evenly with you. And that's a lot of what we saw here, where you saw just how quick a mere 5 to 6K lead ballooned to 30K.
I also think this is a great showcase of what Melee Creeps have been able to achieve as a team in Deadlock. Like you mentioned about, these guys aren't, the ranks aren't that disparate in terms of what they have in solo queue, for example, but this team's really been on the grind. Ido as well, in and out of competitive play, has been putting in an unreal amount of hours. Some of these guys have 3K plus hours in Deadlock at this point. Like that is just how hard they've worked on a game that, outside of our friends at Intel and Trolli, there hasn't been a ton of incentive in investing that heavily in. This is just their hopes for the future. And so far, they've really paved the way, and they've started to, turn NA, because it's not just Melee Creeps, of course, into a force to be reckoned with. Let's have a look at these stats. I think the standout to me, of course, is a perfect game from Ido. Ridiculous number of souls. You can see that disparity was certainly enlarged over the course of this game.
Yeah, and also you talk about people that are getting into it. John DMB, practically in every fight on the assist count. Ido may be getting the kills, but on the assist note, DMB is making his way around the map for Mirage. Not necessarily taking as much time to turn back and farm, but I don't know. When the soul gap is around 30K that early on, you don't have to sit here and be in the jungle the rest of the map. You can just be involved in fights and go from there. But yeah, needless to say, a little bit tough. You look at the cross stats on the other side, and one thing I will say, Leviathan, despite having a rough game overall for Kawaii Crew, still pumped quite a bit of damage on the Sinclair. I mean, Leviathan is a scary Sinclair. That hype isn't coming from nowhere, but Deadlock is a team game, and if the rest of things aren't going well, you're not going to look great, even if you have the best Sinclair in the world.
I think what's most definitive here is also just Kawaii Crew all have about 40+% of their soul income from troopers, where for Melee Creeps, it's 20 to 30. So that's how little access Kawaii Crew actually had to their neutrals or on the map in general. They just couldn't get in there. And that's obviously how you're supposed to extend the lead, when that sort of comeback mechanic kicks in and gives the trailing team bonus souls for completing the same objective. So in order to deny that, you've got to walk in. I mean, it's just a very textbook example of how to win at Deadlock. A great game, and again, it really whets my appetite to see him go up against Sneaky Golem now. Money match.
And Sneaky Golem, I mean, they're a team that has adapted and kind of figured out Melee Creeps a little bit. You think about it, they may have went down in the Trolli tournament, but going up against Melee Creeps last week, they go, yeah, actually, we don't need to let you have Bebop every game.
Oh, what is this, bro? It's an 8-minute cold sack. Yep. Oh my god, bro, that's too early. Come on, bro. Bro, the tier 3s aren't even spawning by this point.
It is the perfect time, because the tier 3s
it is at 8 minutes,
exactly 8 minutes. Yeah, it's just you don't want to do the thing where you get the cult sack a little bit earlier than 8 minutes, because then you're just like, I don't even feel good about using it. I want to wait for the red creeps. But Ido saw the red creep spot and immediately goes, yep, time to buy my cult sack.
Legendary.
Goes in and devours.
That is sick. Yeah, sorry, I thought it was a little later, but yeah, it is Sinners and tier 3s at 8 minutes. Perfect. I mean, again, crazy stuff. Also pointed out by a production team, 100% kill participation for Can. So that's that Dynamo really getting involved. It wasn't just that Kawaii Crew's Cop had weak laners like University, but this year is obviously Ed is looking to farm, and there's no safe haven for this Infernus to do the Zergy thing and just chill in his own lane. There is no own lane on the map, because if your team can't create pressure anywhere and create a vacuum for you to fill and to eat through those camps, neutrals, and of course in the lane troopers, then you're in deep trouble. You cannot get to that stage of the game where you become relevant, and Melee Creeps are hitting these mid-game power spikes extremely early, as evidenced by just the build order here for Ido. Sick game from him, man, just brimming with confidence, and Melee Creeps have added a true weapon to their arsenal with this edition.
Yeah, I do wonder where Sneaky Golem taking away weapons in the draft, if they're going to rate Ido's Mina as highly, because I mean, it's still Ido. Ido still has the pocket available if need be. I do wonder if they go for it. For me, I think it'd be a case where if the Mina were the last beyond mid-stage bans, that'd be a good time to be like, yeah, we're going to target it and take it out of the game. But we'll see what has changed in 1 week, because last week it was Sneaky Golem making their adaptations of Melee Creeps. This week it's going to be Melee Creeps coming with some of their adaptations. So could go either way for me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is what you have in store. Melee Creeps, of course, are your reigning Trolli 10K Open champions, and that is for good reason, of course. They beat Sneaky Golem 2-0, and the second game was actually pretty darn quick, so they definitely have themselves positioned as the team to beat right now. But Sneaky Golem, of course, put up a great show. They beat, obviously, Love Yoshi. They beat this Kawaii Crew team as well as the Unks, but again, Melee Creeps definitely feel like they are forced to be reckoned with. But I mean, we're talking about Hydration, Rocker, AVG, Goober, Rokane. This is a very legit team in Sneaky Golem. So expect a good game for this $1,000 on the line. Thanks to our friends over at Intel. We're going to be back, of course, with that best of 3 money match right after this. You know where you are. I don't need to tell you. We're glad you're here.
ZP is single
for now.